First off, have you ever known anyone to set off an explosion with a cigarette? Because, personally, I think it'd be pretty hard to pierce a propane tank with a piece of paper with some leaves in it. So go ahead, smoke by propane tanks. You'll be fine. If you can set off an explosion with a cigarette, you're Jesus. If you love someone, let them go is completely outdated and completely stupid. If you love someone, you should stick with them through the harsh times because that is the definition of unconditional love. Should say if you hate someone, you should get them out of your life. Don't deal with that person anymore. Just get them out of your life. So that definition is completely useless in our daily life. Would a statue of a bench still be a bench? Don't think about that too hard. It could really hurt you. So I'm walking around town and I see this bank and I see the sign on the bank that says Hashfield Bank bans guns on these premises. And I think to myself, that's fucking stupid. Because that sign is not going to stop any criminal from robbing the place. They're not going to see it and go, oh fuck, I better not bring a gun here. And any normal person would not bring a gun there in the first place because they do not want to look like a criminal. In fact, they should change all the signs and have it say, Hashfield Bank promotes guns on these premises. Because who in their right mind is going to rob a bank where everyone brings a gun? You know, a guy comes in, he says, get down on the ground. No one gets down on the ground. They just stare at him, and Grandma Mo in the corner whips out a Uzi from her purse and says, get the fuck out. That's just it. It would reduce bank robberies by like 99% if they all just brought guns. Have you noticed when you're waiting for a train, look at the people in the other cars, and you'll notice they won't make eye contact with you at all. They just look down at their chest or just look up in the sky. They don't want to make eye contact. Because if the person's like a road rager and they normally flip you off, they can't flip you off when they're waiting for a train because they're afraid that you're just going to get out of your car and beat the shit out of them. You're not moving anyways. I think the most amazing pets in the world are hamsters because hamsters can do something no other animal can do. They can take a shit while running at full speed. And if hamsters are really cute, if a hamster bites you and takes a big chunk out of your hand, all you'll say is, "Aw," because they're so cute. That's their only job, is to look cute. That's what you buy them for. One time my hamster was humping the bedding in my cage and I didn't know, and I picked him up and I flipped him over and I looked at his face, and there's an alien coming out of his dick. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Then I realized that is his dick. And did you know that their sperm is actually really hard? It's like a white rock. Did I take it too far? Did I say too much? I think it'd be hard to be a part of the KKK in Detroit because the meetings there must be pretty small, and it must be hard just hitting 99% of the population. It just must take a lot out of you. Have you ever known anyone to fail art class? I don't think anyone's failed art class. It's impossible because you're practicing for art class in every other class you're in. Like when you're in math class and the teacher's droning on about trigonometry. You and your neighbor are just drawing pictures of monkeys pissing in their own mouths and stupid stuff like that on your papers. And when you take that test that the teacher knows you're going to fail, and the teacher knows you're all fucking morons, and you know you're going to fail the test, and you don't know the answer, you just draw a picture of a tank blowing up the answer. And I like that question that says, A plus B equals X. Find X. There's always that one kid that draws an arrow to the X and says, use X. So you can tell I failed that class. I have a theory that everyone in pawn shops is an asshole. I think you have to be an asshole to work at a pawn shop. For example, one time I wanted to sell some shit. You know that useless shit you leave lying on the ground in your room. You don't care if you step on it. Like old cell phone, who gives a shit? And an iPod that's been outdated for like one day. You want to get rid of it. So I took that shit there, and 99% of the stuff they wouldn't take, but the only thing they would take is a GPS. So I hand him the GPS, and he looks at the GPS. She says, we'll probably take it for like $35, but the battery's dead on it. I'm like, okay, I was smart. I brung along a charger. And I hand him a charger. I'm like, here, you can charge it. He says, we can't charge it in the store. I'm like, why not? He says, we just can't. It's store policy. I'm like, okay, do you have an outlet? Yeah. Then charge it. Plug it in and charge it. It's not that hard. Just plug it in and charge it and turn it on. How big of a dumbass do you have to be to not charge it? It'd take a second out of your day. Jesus Christ. Pawn shops are all assholes. There's people out there that really annoy me as people ask why I shave my head. Personally, you shouldn't give a shit why I shave my head. I don't go around asking strangers on the street if they shave their pubes. Like, hey man, what's up? Do you shave your pubic hair? Hey, that's kind of a personal question. Exactly. And they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm screaming exactly in their face. This is something that doesn't matter. You know what I say? I say it saves a lot on shampoo. You know, you don't have to rinse and repeat as much. It just saves a lot of time because shampoo doesn't grow on trees. It's like oil. It's more expensive than oil, actually. Here's a way to save a lot of money instead of going to the movie theaters. Get your family some Saturday morning, and you get all the food that you have at home. And then you go down to your local Walmart and just watch the movies that they're playing on the screens there, in the electronics section. Just sit there for an hour and a half and watch all the movies that they play. It'll save you an ass load. And then just bring some folding chairs in with you and just bring them in Walmart and just wave at the people, and the people working there will be like, what the fuck? And they'll be talking about you for years, the family that came in and just watched movies for an hour and a half. I like double standards. I like the double standard that women can call other women attractive, gorgeous, and beautiful, but guys cannot call other guys handsome. They can call them good looking, but they can't be too happy about it when they say it. It's just like the double standard when you have a boss, and if you have a good boss, good for you. Keep that job. That's a good job. But if you have a boss that's like every other boss in the world, and he's kind of he's an asshole. If he's a guy, he's an asshole, he's a dick, he's a hard ass. But if you have a female boss, the only thing you can call her is a bitch. Only thing you can call her is a bitch, because you can't call her cunt. A cunt is a beautiful thing. That's where babies come from. That's where magic happens. That's where you just stick it in and then something comes out. So, bitch. Only alternative for your female boss. Kinda sick of telemarketers calling me every 5 seconds for stupid shit. They always call me up and ask if I want to buy some stupid shit. It's only $5 for some stupid shit. I'm like, I don't want to buy some stupid shit. I already have stupid shit. I have a lot of stupid shit at home. And then they call you the next day and the next day, and you just keep getting angry and angry at these people that just keep fucking calling you. You know what I do when they call? I take the phone and I say, hang on a second. And I go in my bathroom and I shove it in the toilet and I flush the toilet. Because that's where customer service is nowadays, in the fucking toilet. Have you heard this story? This guy called Kim.com, and that is his real name. He owned this website, megauploads.com. And he was charged with piracy on a massive scale, like massive. And he didn't hurt anyone, he didn't kill anyone. And they sent 17 police officers to his house, armed with automatic weapons, and 3 helicopters. Meanwhile, rapists in this country, on average, get 11-year sentence. This guy got 50 years. 11 versus 50. Does that sound a little fucked up to you? Does that sound a little wrong? I don't think this guy should get charged 50 years at all, because these people making these fucking movies and shit that he's illegally torrenting and stuff are making hundreds of millions of years already. So what if they're out $1 million a year? Big deal. If I was making $100 million a year, I wouldn't complain about fucking anything. You couldn't make me angry in any way. I do love video games. I I like playing online games, but there's just so much hatred in video games. Everyone, it just brings out the worst in people. It just brings out, they start calling each other niggers and fags and Mexicans, and it's just horrible. And no one's stopping this shit. No one's stopping and saying, hey, maybe we should do something about this. No one cares. No one cares that all this racism is happening online. Personally, it's a video game. Who gives a shit? You play it for fun. That is the point of a video game, to have fun. So stop getting your asshole tightened just because someone's killing you a lot or someone sucks. It doesn't matter. It's a video game. No, it's a real day ender is when you don't put enough water in ramen noodles and you cook it and it comes out and it's all hard and nasty. And all the flavoring is at the top. It just ruins your day. Have you ever seen a commercial for ramen noodles on TV? Of course you haven't. They don't need commercials. Everyone buys ramen noodles because they're cheap. Only commercial they could have is like 5 seconds long. It says, buy ramen noodles. They're cheap. That's their slogan. They're cheap. And they'd still make a lot. College kids buy ramen noodles a lot. I don't think if there was ramen noodles, I don't think anyone would go to college. Because college is just so expensive. Which brings me to another point. If you're going to go to college, know what you're going to do. Know what the fuck you're going to do with your life. Don't go to college not knowing what you're going to do. Don't go to a college where you pay $100,000 a fucking month to a college that does everything unless you're going to do the job everything. Someone asks you what you do for a living. Everything. Oh, did you go to college for that? Yeah, well that was a great investment. No, don't go to a college that does everything. Go to a specific college. Know what you're going to do before you go to college. Just don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. Just be smart. Be smart about college. You ever have this happen to you where you're about to go shopping with someone and the person you're going to go shopping with asks you if you have to go to the bathroom and you're at home still? You say, no, I don't have to go to the bathroom. Then on the way to the place you're going to, when you're already on the highway, you have to go to the bathroom. And you're like, I have to go to the bathroom now. And the person's always, well, why didn't you go to the bathroom before? Say to them, I didn't have to go to the bathroom before, but because you mentioned it, subconsciously and subliminally, my mind had to take a few minutes to process it, and it says, now I have to take a piss. So fuck you for bringing it up. You're a fucking asshole. Let's pull over here. That looks nice. It looks like a nice place. I used to work at a place called Fleet Farm. I called it Satan's Workshop. It was the worst place to work. Worst place ever. I fucking hated the place. And I used to be a cashier there. And it was a boring job. All you did was stand there and say, hi, how you doing? How you doing today? Did you find everything all right? God. Fucking God. I hated that job. Anyways, one time they told me to go in hunting supplies and help in hunting supplies. I'm like, okay, it gets me away from fucking standing here looking like a dumbass all day. So I go in some hunting supplies and I notice there's a rack filled with sexy sleepwear in hunting supplies. Sexy sleepwear in hunting supplies. What the fuck? So I saw it was a huge mess. I decided to clean it up because I'm a good guy, you know. And I'm cleaning up all the shit. Moving all the panties and the bras and all that other shit to the correct sizes, like triple D cup and stuff. And a fellow worker, walks up to me and looks at me, and I'm holding like a bra in my hand. I look at her, I'm like, this job is kind of awkward. She laughed and walked away. And that was the end of the day. Nothing else happened. The next day, the boss calls me into her dungeon of doom, and I sit in the interrogation chair. She's like, do you know why I called you in? I'm like, thinking to myself, no, I don't know why the fuck you called me in. Why? How would I know? Can I read your mind? Can I read your... But I didn't say that. She's like, someone saw you playing with sexy sleepwear and hunting supplies. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of fucking freak do you think I am that I'm playing with sexy sleepwear and hunting supplies? What kind of a fucking freak do you think I am? Of course I didn't say that. I said, no, I was just fixing stuff. She's like, oh, okay. Are you sure? I'm like, yes, I'm sure. I think she's jealous, because she was a heavyset woman. I think she's jealous of me playing with that shit. But that was a terrible job. I'm glad I quit that fucking job. You ever have one of those grandmas that knows everyone in the universe? My grandma used to be a secretary at school, and she knew everyone. I walk up to people on the street, and I tell them my name's Blake Sweningson. They're like, "Oh, Sweningson, I know your grandma." Of course you know my grandma. Everyone knows my grandma. Hitler knew my grandma. So, and whenever we go to our grandparents' house, they talk a lot. They talk about people you know, people you don't know, people you remotely don't give a shit about. But they're your grandparents. You have to listen to them. And you can't get a word in edgewise to say, I kind of have to go to the bathroom, or I have to go take a dump. If you do, you're just in the bathroom just sitting there with your pants still up. You're just sitting on a toilet because you know as soon as you leave that bathroom, there's going to be a vocal landmine waiting for you to step on to tell about hundreds of other things you don't care about. So, me and my cousin used to play downstairs when we were younger. We used to play the Nintendo 64. Anyone remember that? Yeah, that was a good console. It almost worked. That was a key thing about it. It almost worked. That's what's good about Nintendo 64. Make it work. All you have to do is blow on it and get the dust out, or you just have to push the power switch just a certain way, and it'll work. Nowadays, the video games have like file errors and disk corruptions and all that other shit. Pencils are freaking sticking out of it, or it just explodes. So they have a lot of games down there. They had really shitty games. They had Rugrats, and the Rugrats game was just as bad as the fucking show. That was a bad show. And they had one game we played hours and hours upon, Super Mario 64. Still one of the best games ever. I don't care about Call of Duty. Give me Mario 64 any day. Still one of the best games ever. It almost worked too. That game almost worked too. We played that game so much that Mario eventually just got old in the game and died. There's only supposed to be 120 stars that you collect in the game. We got 122. We played it that fucking much. So, that was a good time. We had no lives. Good time to just play Mario 64. My grandma's pretty skinny. She's skinny like me. And that's why I hated going to the swimming pool, because I glow and I burn at the swimming pool. I don't last long at the swimming pool. I just burn, fry, and die. That's why I was always like shit when my mom wanted to take us to the swimming pool. One time we went to a local swimming pool, and we got chemical burns from the swimming pool because they put too much chlorine in the pool. Apparently they wanted to kill the germs, and we were the germs. They wanted to kill us. We used to go to the YMCA for swimming lessons. Anyone do that? That was a blast. We went to the YMCA. I was the oldest in the class because I sucked and I couldn't dive, and I could never figure out how to dive. I just physically can't dive. I can do the pencil dive. Yeah, that's easy, but that's the only thing I can do. Well, I knew only two people there. There's my brother and this boy I talked to who had spiked up hair and an earring, and I thought that was kind of cool that he had spiked up hair and an earring. I never learned his name, but I just consider him someone I know. One day, me and him got done early with our shit, and everyone else is still swimming. And we're just talking about Pokemon and some other 9-year-old stuff. And I look at him and I go, you know, there's no girls in our class. I'm surprised. And he said, except me, right? She was a girl and I didn't know it. She was a girl and I didn't know it. You're thinking, how can you be such an asshole to not know that's a girl? Didn't you look at her swimwear? Well, it was the most asexual swimwear ever. It could have been for a guy or a girl. And plus, I'm 9. I'm a dumbass. 9-year-olds are dumbasses. So, obviously, we didn't talk after that. I felt like complete shit. Jesus would call me a fucking asshole to my face after that. That's a problem with America nowadays, is that we want to kill all the germs. We want to kill all the germs in the world. We need germs. We need a lot of germs. I think we should have multiple amounts of germs. Because if we end up killing all the germs, and some super hybrid ultra mega bacteria comes out and just turns your eyes into soup, we're fucked. We need germs. We need that resistance. We need immunity. And eventually, when our eyes are soup, ironically, we will finally see the error of our ways. My best friend in high school had a brother, and he was a massive germaphobe, and when the swine flu came out, he was afraid to go outside because of the swine flu, and they didn't even own pigs on their farm. At all. Well, we finally got him to go outside, and he was covering his mouth with his fucking shirt, and we look at him, and we're like, we're pretty sure the swine flu isn't airborne, you asshole. He's like, shut up. Because everyone's afraid of germs. I like germs. Keeps you strong and healthy. So springtime's here. I fucking hate springtime. People say it's the season of new life. I say it's the season where nature's assholes come out and shit on everything that you have that is nice. And I'm of course talking about birds. And robins in particular. Robins are horrible. They're noisy and they shit on everything. I think we should say fuck PETA and declare war on birds. Let's wipe out these species. They're useless. They're useless. The only birds that are might want to keep is chickens because they taste like everything and everything tastes like chickens. And what are the chances you're going to find an animal that does that again in the billion years? And mourning doves, because mourning doves have the most beautiful song ever. They just come out in the morning and get your newspaper and they just go. And you always think, this is going to be a good day. Never do that for crows. When you come out and get your newspaper and you hear a crow out there, ah, ah, ah! You don't say, oh, this is going to be a great day. What a beautiful song. No, your balls jump up inside your body because you're scared shitless. Birds are annoying. Get rid of them. They're not useful. Do you know why it's called Victoria's Secret? Because Queen Victoria wore lingerie. A lot of people don't know that, and that's why the company called themselves Victoria's Secret. And yes, I'm a guy, and yes, I know that. Sometimes I wear Victoria's Secret. It's just a hobby. Something I like to do. Is that weird? So I was in the store one day, and someone came up to me and asked me what an iPad is. And I'm like, it's like a laptop. It's like a shitty laptop without keyboards. It's also a $499 mirror, table stand, and a poop and scoop for your fucking cat. So I got fired from that job. I wonder why. Justin Bieber fans scare the living shit out of me. They're the scariest people in the world. Justin Bieber fans are scary motherfuckers. There's this rumor going around that Justin Bieber was going to perform in Peru, and there's people making death threats to him in Peru, saying that if you come here, you will regret it for the rest of your life. And this guy was making candy that said "Death to Justin Bieber" on it, and he's selling it in Peru. And the Justin Bieber fans sent him death threats, saying that they're gonna kill him and make it look like an accident. Holy fuck! How devoted are you to a celebrity that you're actually willing to kill someone? That's kind of fucked up. It's just like when this girl came out saying that she had Justin Bieber's baby. They sent her letters, and they signed their names on it too, of death threats to her. And I was looking at this Justin Bieber fan art on the internet, and I saw someone carved "JB, I love you" into their arm with a knife. Wouldn't Justin Bieber see this and see how fucked up he's making girls are in America? Wouldn't you think he'd come out with a campaign like, can you stop this shit for a while? I'm gonna go and disappear on an island for a while just to calm down all these girls. Because they're scary motherfuckers. If the mafia knew that Justin Bieber fans were after them, they'd shit themselves and probably disband from the mafia. These are scary fuck people. I'm sick of seeing these things on YouTube. They're called YouTube poops. They're the most retarded thing ever. They take okay videos and they make them shitty by making it faster, slower, repeating, occasionally adding the word penis to it. It's moronic. These 13-year-olds that are doing this should get off their fucking computers and do some schoolwork. No one finds this funny. The only people that find it funny are the people that make them. The 13-year-olds that make them. Get off your computer, do some schoolwork. Would you hire someone for movie editing, if you knew that they made YouTube poops, I don't think you would hire them. I wouldn't hire them. I'd say, fuck that. I'd throw the fucking resume away. It's moronic. It's stupid. Should be banned. I think we should have steroids in sports because I would finally watch sports then. No, if they have baseball and they all using steroids and they look like the Hulk, they're even green too. And they're just smashing baseballs and killing people from 5 miles away. They'd have to double the size of the baseball field so they aren't running it in 5 seconds. It'd be a lot of fun. I think we should have steroids in sports. That'll be great time, great entertainment for the family. Just see them getting the fights from the roid rage. It'll be a blast. Is dog shampoo tested on humans? Just looking for a little consistency. The most stupid children movie series in the world is Alvin and the Chipmunks. Alvin and the Chipmunks is still... They're still making movies. There's only one joke the whole movie. The only joke is that they're high-pitched voices singing pop songs. That's the joke. And they stretched it over 3 movies. It's retarded. Jesus Christ. Don't let your kids watch these movies. They'll just get stupider from watching Alvin and the Chipmunks. Their grades will go down because they watch Alvin and the Chipmunks. Then they hired that guy from My Name is Earl to be the main guy in there. It's like, wow. They totally screw that up. He has like no connection with children's movies at all. He shouldn't be doing children's movies. You might as well just have fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie. Alvin! No, I can't do Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice. I suck at voices. Hopefully the series dies and gets buried. Have you seen these online ads? The online ads that say, Mom hated by dermatologists. Mom finds a way to spend $5 to remove wrinkles permanently. I love those ads, and it shows a picture of an ugly-ass woman on the top. Then below it, they show this beautiful woman with flawless skin. You know what? Those ads are true. You can really look like that. It's called a guy holding his wang in his basement who just needs $5 and he's got Photoshop experience. That'll get you to look just like that fucking woman. Have you ever woken up from a dream and not remembered the dream, but you remember remembering the dream? How the fuck does that work? Am I the only one that just happens to? I had a dream one time. I'll tell you about this. This is the dumbest dream I've ever had. I had a dream that there's a zombie apocalypse happening. You know, that's normal. Some zombies were invading. And I was holed up in a house, and I had a handgun. And I was shooting the zombies in the face. And it wasn't killing them because dreams suck, and no one dies in your dreams except you. Well, eventually I ran out of ammo, and I just threw the gun aside, and I decided to punch a zombie in the face. As soon as I did that, the whole crowd of zombies stopped. And they're like, I heard someone in the background say, can you do that? And then a police officer came out of nowhere and arrested me for punching a zombie in the face. Like it was illegal or something. You have the right to remain silent, anything you say. I'm like, then I woke up from the dream like, what the fuck? That was a stupid dream. You know what I did? I just went right back to sleep. I like that after we have bad dreams, we wake up from them, we just go right back to sleep. Wait, like it can't get any stupider, it can't get any scarier. It's just like that guy that at the bar that says it can't get any worse. You're just sitting at a guy with the bar. He's telling you all this shit that's happening to him. Yeah, I lost my wife, then my kids, then my car. But at least things can't get any worse. And the guy beside him is going, uh-huh. Then the guy saying all this shit just explodes. And blood and guts are everywhere. And the guy beside him looks at him and says, holy shit, this guy needs another drink on me. This guy needs another drink. He's having a really bad day. But he's dead. He's dead. Things always get worse. They always will get worse. You always start off really high and they just get worse. Here's a story of when I broke my arm. Me and my cousin were at our grandparents' house one time, and we're doing some stupid shit in the basement, playing Mario 64. And we got bored, and we decided to go in the barn and take some raid and kill all the spiders, because that was a great idea. Since we're both terrified of spiders, we thought it'd be a fun idea. Yeah. Anyway, so we're in the barn, we're standing on top of hay bales, and we're spraying down spiders. Then we see something on the wall, two glowing eyes on the wall. And we got closer to it, and it was a moth. It was the biggest motherfucking moth I've ever seen. And it started flying towards us, so we ran and ran on the hay bales, and I was hitting my head against the fucking ceiling. It was a lot of fun. So eventually we decided to leave the barn, and my cousin jumps down off the hay bales and kind of rolls around. He's like, holy shit. And he looked up at me, he's like, watch your step. And I said, huh? And as soon as he said that, I tripped on a lump on the hay bales, and I fell, and I broke my arm. Snapped it, and it looked like a shape of an S. We're looking at my arm, we're like, holy fuck. Oh my god, we're both freaking out, and I had to climb 2 fences just to get out of the fucking barn with a broken arm. So we got inside, and my grandparents called my parents to take me to the hospital. And all I wanted for some reason was some water, like that was gonna cure it. I'm like, can I get some water? Can I just get some water? Hurry up and get me some water. I was so dry, I don't know why, but I just wanted water, like that was gonna be the cure-all thing. So my parents come and they pick me up, and my mom sits in the back with me in the car, and she's got ice, and she puts it on my arm. And I look at my arm, then I look at her, and I'm like, so how was your night? And she just started laughing because my arm was so bent out of shape, and I obviously had a bad night. So we got to the hospital, and they're looking at my arm, and they're rotating it and shit, and then examining it, even though it's obviously broken. It shouldn't be the shape of an S. It's obviously broken. You don't need to touch it. So eventually they got me into that little room, and they gave me some morphine, and everything was a blur after that. The last thing I remember was turning on a laptop computer with my mind. That's the last thing I remember. But it was a lot of fun. The morphine was kind of worth it. It was a great summer. If you had the chance to break your arm, don't. But if you do, get that morphine. That's good shit. Can you believe that George Lucas is still making money out the fucking Star Wars series? He's re-releasing them in 3D. This guy's made billions and billions of dollars off of this series, and these are horrible movies to begin with. The Star Wars prequels were shit movies. And now the only difference is he's releasing them in 3D. What the fuck, George Lucas? He should be in an asylum. He's lost it. He's not making good movies anymore. He should retire. He's not able to work anymore, mentally and physically. He's just not able to do this anymore. He's already made billions of dollars. It's time to retire, George. It's time to retire. It's time to get off that little chair. There's one last thing I want to talk about is these. Have you added people on Facebook? They're people you don't know, but you added them just because you're bored and they're on your friends list. And the only thing they put on your status is quotes. All they do is quote other people. They can't think for anything for themselves. They just quote other fucking people. And I tell these people, can't you think of a thought yourself? Can't you think of a quote yourself? Can't you have and think for yourself instead of quoting all these old motherfuckers that are dead? Stop quoting other people. Use your brain. Talk about how your day is, or talk about how your relationship is. Stop quoting motherfuckers. Stop quoting these people. It's a waste of time. You're a waste of time. You're a waste of breath. You're a waste of the pixels that are on Facebook. It's a complete waste. Get rid of these people that can't think for themselves. Think for yourself. Think for yourself. Don't take other people's advice. Don't be a part of a group. Be an individual. Think for yourself. That's what I'm going to leave you at. Think for yourself. Hope you've enjoyed the CD. Have a good day. And see me in concert if you can, or whatever.